Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
AKA. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
Welcome back, you guys. It's your girl Moni.
And this is Kat.
Was that more normal this time?
You don't do it not normal. Like,
But-
you sound normal. Like,
It's like I sound like a cartoon character, and it's. I feel like it's what Brother to the Night picked up on when he was recording with us. Is a little bit of like I actually don't. My voice is a little bit lower when I'm talking in normal life.
you know what? You might be right, because you did an impersonation of me one time. So that might just be how I like hear.
Maybe it just sounds normal to you. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're back. It's me. It's how I sound.
We're normal. We sound normal.
Very normal. And we're here with a normal episode, you guys. We have a book to review this week that I'm very excited about. And I think I'm just going to get right into the synopsis here. Okay.
Oh, whew.
Yeah. I'm not even here. I'm just going to announce it in the synopsis. So here we go. One of the most important and enduring books of the 20th century, Their Eyes Were Watching God, brings to life a Southern love story with the wit and pathos found only in the writing of Zora Neale Hurston. Out of print for almost 30 years due to largely an initial audience rejection of its strong Black female protagonist, Hurston's classic has since its 1978 reissue become perhaps the most widely read and highly acclaimed novel in the canon of African American literature. Okay. I am so pumped up. This book is a book that we've both read before. I'm sure you read it more than me. This was only my second time reading it.
Yeah, I've reread it quite a few times. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really reread it last week.
Did you need to?
I listened to a summary of it on YouTube just to jog my memory and stuff like this. But this book is kind of a part of me.
Oh my gosh. See, this is why we had to review it, you guys. We definitely want to share this with you. So hold up. Where did my dedication go? Is it on here? Because that was okay. Yes. So let's dedicate this episode before we jump into the book, you guys. So hands over your hearts. So this week and every week, we want to start off this episode by acknowledging our very special and very well-loved patrons. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you're interested, please feel free to pop over to Patreon.com/TheFabPodcast for bonus content and ad-free episodes. Also, my side dedication is to the internet and to the comment section of Stephen Miller's wife, who had the audacity and gall to say that liberal men weren't unattractive whilst married to Stephen Miller.
Should I pull up a picture of Stephen Miller for the YouTube people?
I would.
Just in case they don't know.
So you know what I mean?
And I'll put up a couple different pictures so you know this wasn't just like a bad one, because we all take a bad picture sometimes.
We all do. Listen.
But every single picture I've seen of Stephen Miller has been terrible.
I am dead. One of my favorite ones, and I didn't screenshot it, but it basically said he looked like the Temu version of Nosferatu. I died. I cackled because I was like,
we have Nosferatu at home.
He's so ugly.
Yeah.
He's so bad. And then imagine the Temu version. I don't know. The comments got it right. It gave me life. And yeah, bravo to all of you.
You do like a good
out
roasting
there.
session.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Like, what?
It was great. It was great. What about
That
you,
is
friend?
pretty great. My dedication is going out to Michael Jackson, Indiana's own. The Michael movie came out this week. I'm probably not going to see it in theaters. I'll probably wait. But I did go back and just watch a lot of Michael Jackson's work, because it's out there. And, I feel like they've tried to, run a smear campaign on my guy. And I think it was unwarranted. When people tend to, dedication over. But just in general, when people, they always want to call him a PDF file. But when people do that, especially when they get to the age, because he died in his 50s.
Yeah.
Usually when someone gets that old and that's their lifestyle, they usually have hundreds of victims. He had like 4 or 6, something like between 4 to 6 accusers, and it was always kind of suspect. I think it was just because they just did not like how excellent this man was. It was just too much. They just couldn't take it.
It's too much excellence?
Too much excellence.
Wow.
Like going back now and like really studying him as an artist and what he was able to do. I was watching footage of the Bad Tour. I've never seen anything like it. There's never been anyone like him. And they're just like, it was never supposed to be like this. Like it was supposed to, but
like
Elvis
this.
could never. And I mean, in Elvis, we got documentation. He was a PDF file. So
Dang.
did you watch Priscilla?
No.
Man, I didn't
know
even
why I
want
said
to. I actually wouldn't have watched it had it hadn't been for my daughter. She wanted to watch it. And so I tend to indulge her.
Sure.
And yeah, he just picked that girl up. He's a full grown man and got this little like what was she, like 13, 14 years old, coming to the house. He was drugging her, giving her Quaaludes and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. It was crazy.
Oh,
and just
wow.
having her, and like her parents basically just had to go with her or else she was just going to run off with them. Like that was the thing too, where the parents were like, why didn't you? And it's like, we really can't go up against this dude. Like everybody loved Elvis. Like he was he was, yeah. And he was Elvis loved drugs. Just so y'all know. And he wasn't as good as Michael Jackson.
Oh my gosh.
And he was just doing like, I don't know. Are there any Elvis songs you like?
Not that I want to talk about before I talk about this book. I'm done talking about Elvis, friends. Forget about
Elvis
him.
Presley.
I mean, good on him or whatever, I guess. I don't know. That's just for another episode.
It is.
I don't wanna
But
talk
that
about Elvis
was,
no more.
you don't want to talk about it?
No.
All right, that's
talk
fair.
about him. I didn't
You
even
want to
watch
talk
Priscilla.
about, do you want to talk about Zora Neale Hurston?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
All right. Well, here's a
my
little bit about
gosh.
her.
Okay.
She was an American writer, anthropologist, folklorist, and documentary maker. She portrayed racial struggles in the early 20th century American South and published research on hoodoo and Caribbean voodoo. The most popular of her 4 novels is Their Eyes Were Watching God, published in 1937. And she herself was born in January of 1891 in Alabama, and she died January 28th in 1960. And she was educated at Columbia University, and she was married 3 times. My funniest thing to me was like her last spouse, James Pitts. They're married. They couldn't even make it through the year. It was from 1944 to 1944.
Damn. Right. Well, when you know, you know.
When you know,
It's like,
you know.
well, we
The
messed that
other
one
2,
up.
she at least gave them each 4 years.
Okay.
And with James, she was like, I ain't got a lot of time left. We gotta.
We gotta go. This is I don't have
Yeah.
3 more years to be wasting with your ass. Okay.
So yeah, that
All
gives
right.
us an idea of her.
I like her. And also just about this book, a little bit about it. So it was originally published in 1937. It's American literature, literary fiction. Its setting is Central and Southern Florida in the early 20th century. And depending on the version that you get, you might find anywhere between 219 to 56 pages. The audiobook was about 7 hours long. Yeah, and those are the stats on the book. So, like we mentioned before, we read this book before. You've read it many times. This is my second time. So the first time I actually read it, I have a hard copy of this book. Pretty sure I got from you. It might be literally the copy I have. If it's not here, it's on the other shelf over here.
Okay.
Listen, I'm pretty sure I got it from her and read it. Because at your insistence or whatever. But remember really enjoying it, but having a hard time reading it at first. Like it took some chapters of me reading before it was like I could settle into the language. I think, she really captures the language of the time of those folks, like very Southern Black folks.
I
in the early 20th
I never
century.
listened to the audiobook, so that would be fascinating.
Guess who read it? I forgot to say the legendary Ruby D.
Oh, Ruby D.
Yes, my bad. Oh my gosh.
It's understandable how the wires could get crossed.
I was just talking about Ruby Rose right before this, guys. It was wild.
It was just a little synaptic mix up, but yeah.
But yeah, so it was. She did a really, really good job.
bet.
She voiced everybody. Like it was a totally different experience that I really enjoyed. So I would recommend the audiobook if you are somebody who can listen to them, especially because the vernacular can be hard to read. But I think that if you're reading it, if you stick with it, you do kind of get into it.
And it helps. I remember reading it out loud to myself.
Yeah.
To help a little bit.
Yeah, man. I was like, oh my God, it's better than I remembered.
That, you know what? I think it's
Oh
one of
my
those things where
goodness.
as you get older, it gets better. Because I think I mentioned maybe more than once that this was a book I was reading when I decided to leave a relationship. And like I said, I read this when I was very, very young, like basically when I was, I've always been a reader. So basically like in my early 20s, and then reading it again in like my late 30s, it hits a little harder. So I think every time because you're going on a journey with Janie.
You really
so as a woman, the different iterations of yourself is like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So good. So, do you want to do a little breakdown of the book
Of Janie's
I've
journey?
Yeah. I've got
I could try.
Okay.
Just off the dome,
Yeah,
from
off
what
the
I
dome,
remember. So we we start with Janie. She's a very young girl in the South who discovers one day that she's colored. Like she lived her whole life until she saw a picture of herself. She goes, "I'm colored," and
That was so cute. Bless her heart.
That was. She's like, all this time I thought I was a person, and now here I am finding out I'm colored. And so her mother had run off, so she's being raised by her grandmother, Nanny. And okay, this was something that always stuck with me when Nanny was talking to her about men and like her own husband and growing up and some of the degradation she kind of went through. And
Mind you, Nanny was an enslaved person who
Nanny was an enslaved
got her
person.
freedom.
Yeah, so she has a very unique American perspective. And so she's very protective of Janie. And one day she sees Janie standing under the pear tree. I love how she describes it too, of just like this, bee and the flower and all of this stuff. It was just very birds and the bees. And Nanny sees her kissing this boy and she's like, oh boy. She's like, no, we got to get you hitched because you're not going to end up a loose woman like your mama. So she marries her to this old man, and then Nanny dies. So she's alone in the world, and she's just got this old man husband who's working her like a plow mule and refuses to give her any affection. Like I'm going to just say it. He was a misogynist, and he just didn't. It was just crazy. And so one day she was by the side of the road, and this young colored man walks up, and he was like, "Hey, what's a pretty young thing like you working like a plow mule for?" And she was like, "Oh, it's just my husband." She's like, "Man, I'm about to go start a town. You should be with me." And she was like, "You know what? You're right." She just takes off. And they start this colored town, and he's very controlling and doesn't want her to be basically common and wants her to be sort of in this exalted position. And eventually she gets sick of it. And this was the part that kind of tipped me off because he stopped eating her cooking. And that happened to me where I'm like, I had someone who was like, I was like, this is so weird. Like, why? And so I was like, wow. I was like, so, wow.
This is a thing.
This is a thing. So Zora's trying to put me up on game. So, but eventually Joe dies after she tells him about himself. And then she's like, you know what? I kind of like being by, on my own. I'm running the store. I finally get to talk to people the way I want to. Because that is a fun thing. Like just talk. Like that's just one of the best things.
Talking shit.
It was
one of the best things ever.
It's a proto podcast.
It's like literally like my church.
That's my favoritist thing.
Yeah.
So, she's just living her life. And then here comes Tea Cake. And Tea Cake is how much younger?
13 years, 12 years.
12, 13 years.
12 years her junior.
Yeah, Tea Cake. And they decide, she's like, you know what? I know I've heard all the stories about young men taking advantage of older women, but I don't care. I love Tea Cake. I'm going to take my money and I'm going to go off with them. So they leave and to start a new life together. And then he abandons her for how many days?
2 or 3.
2-3 days. He takes her money and just runs off and comes back with some story about how he threw this big party in town and something.
Bought a guitar.
Yeah, and she was just like, okay, well, don't do that no more. And they decided to become like migrant workers. And, everything's going pretty well. He kind of cheats on her, but starts to cheat on her, and she keeps him in check. And then one day while there's like this terrible storm, and that's when we get the line, their eyes were watching God, because they thought they were watching the storm, but their eyes were watching God. And Tea Cake is trying to protect her from a rabid dog, and he gets bit. And then sadly, he succumbs to rabies, and she has to shoot him one day in self-defense, and then is put on trial for his murder and is found not guilty, and then ends up back at home with her homegirl, where you always end up. And so with a bowl of rice telling her story. And I think that's how we wrap it up.
Pretty darn good. Yeah, because technically this is like, the whole story is like her reminiscing to this friend. So like the
that's
first
where it
scene,
starts.
Yeah, so like it comes back full circle. So she's coming back, I guess, like what would seem like in shame, because everybody's talking like, oh, she back.
So she got on overall. She's not as high fancy as she used to be.
Exactly.
And
And so, yeah, it was just, oh my gosh. So yeah, let's talk about the first part of her life though, like with her nanny and like growing up with somebody with the sort of lived experience and like how you're absorbing their view of the world as the person taking care of you. So if I remember correctly, Nanny's daughter basically looked
like Janie,
white, like had blonde hair and everything, like was super. Cause to the point where Nanny's, I feel people were like, "This is your baby," you know what I mean? It was like one of those things where like, are you just the
like
help
my grandma, and
taking
my
care?
auntie? Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, who baby this?
Who is
it's
that?
like,
Your
this
baby?
is my baby.
This is my actual baby.
It's like it can happen.
Yes, and I guess when she got pregnant with Janie, she started drinking and hanging out and all that stuff and ran off. So she never really knew her mom. And so, yeah, I mean, you're just terrified that same sort of thing is going to happen. And so when you see this blossoming, beautiful young woman, you know, like, I mean, it just seemed like Janie, you're just coming of age. Like she's oozing spring. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in that part of your life where you're curious about love.
It's
you know,
nice.
And it is nice. It feels nice.
It's also dangerous.
Yes, and that's the only part that Nanny was
she was
operating
honing
off
in
of. Like,
on.
you're not, but then I thought about that because I'm like, yeah, you know, especially early 20th century. I mean, we always think about our proximity to men in terms of like status, in terms of safety, security, and that's unfortunate because she knows how beautiful her granddaughter is. She knows these dudes are about to be after her. And it's like you get hyper fixated on respectability and positions, you know, because if you're positioned as enslaved, I mean, you're just thinking about, because I think even Janie kind of touched on it. Like, I feel like my nanny, she thought so much about position, she never thought about what it would feel like once you got there, you know, because you're just sitting there and what else though, you know? So I just thought that was an interesting way to think about it. And then, so in my mind, I mean, because it kind of happens in thirds, like the story, you have her early life with her nanny and then being married to the awful, miserable old man, which also had me thinking like, why is that always the move? Well, she was so young, you know what I mean? And it's like,
if
she
you
was
want
16.
if you want security, because
but it's
that's
like
just
children.
It's just how the economics. I mean, our system is patriarchy is set up that way.
So sad.
So,
I hate it.
like I said, if we had some sort of system of like universal basic income, where
here you go
that
again. I'm just kidding.
but that does allow for more sexual selection, because then you don't have to select for security, because a
Right.
lot of women do go that route, or young people. I wouldn't even just say women. They
Yeah.
go towards you know, security resources, and you know, you're an older person, so you've had more time to accumulate them.
And that's real, you know. And I just, it just makes me sick though. I hate that
I don't like
so
it either.
much.
I don't like it either.
so
I would
nasty.
set up a different system if it was up to me.
I
I'd
know
set
you
something
would.
else
I
up.
know you would. It makes me think about like in how some cultures you'd even just get rid of the girls.
Yeah.
You'd rather bury your girls than have them, either because it's like it's just too hard, it's too expensive. But you know, as a woman, how hard it is to be one, and you're like, I don't want her to experience this, or this is just.
And they were always just seen as a deficit because you're raising someone who's going to go off one day. Like you pretty much sell them to their husbands, and then they're not contributing to your house anymore. So it's a
the patriarchy is awful.
yeah.
Like,
The
just had me in that
patriarchy
bag of
was
like,
part of the problem. And like I said, you don't fault Nana too hard.
No,
because
I can't
was it
really.
Nanny or
Nanny?
Nanny? You don't fault her too hard, because what
she loves her,
right?
I mean, like, you know,
what was the
she's loving her the
move
most
to
she
her? She's
could.
like, you know what? You should go out there and be an independent. Like, what does that
Right.
mean
What
to
does that
her?
even look like? What are
like,
you even
yeah,
talking about?
that's not something that, because we think about how dangerous it is to
sad.
be a woman now. Like back then, even
she was
more
like, you're not about to be
so.
a spit cup. Like, I can't even see. And I get, it's like, at least before I close my eyes, I know that you're
And they don't
you're
have
considered
restraining.
respectable.
I
air
can tell you,
quotes.
you cutting
Oh, I'm
into
sorry.
the. But
yeah.
it was the time before restraining orders, before even the idea. I mean, these women couldn't even vote. Like,
No.
no one was even thinking about letting
Or
them vote.
read, probably.
Or
You
read.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
there's no
So-
instance of them reading anything or owning any. Well, now after we're skipping ahead a little bit because she did inherit property from her second husband.
Yeah.
So that
Good
was
old
kind of
Joe.
progressive.
Yeah, it was.
That was a type of
And-
progressive because at that time in England, they still weren't letting women do that.
Well, and I think she was even saying when he found, because we already said he passed away, but it was like a whole thing about her having property and stuff. And like the men folk was coming around like, I got to help you take care a little bit
Little
old
old lady
woman
like you.
And it's like, if y'all weren't terrible, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Why did this happen to my grandmother after my grandfather died?
really?
Yeah, like one of my like on my dad's side, one of his like older cousins, or not on my dad's side, on my mom's side. This is my dad's mom. And one of the cousins on my mom's side was trying to get with my grandmother. And just, you know, yeah, she was like, see, so she was
no.
like, see, so I changed your diapers.
If you don't get out of my face. Wow. I know that's right, Granny. See, that's why I loved her.
Yeah,
Nanny
yeah.
and
She
Granny
was
for the
like,
win.
she would always be like, what do I want to get married again for? So I could iron somebody's shirts? She was like, she really hated ironing those shirts.
I mean, because it's
I
not
know
fun.
it's not, and just everything it represented. Like it was, but like you said, it does reframe like when you have the older generations, because I think it's someone like my grandmother who knew what it was like to not be able to vote. Like
Yeah.
us going to vote was like a tradition that we had together, and the fact that she wasn't allowed to drive, not by the state, but just so socially, like that wasn't what proper, like.
Yes, the respectability of it all.
The respectability
too.
of it all.
And
But
that
the
being
fact that
over
she did that to
everything.
not just protect herself, but her kids
Yeah.
and subsequently me, so that we would have access to resources. Yeah. So I appreciate the sacrifices.
Yeah.
And like I said, and also being kind. I feel like this is something we don't do as much anymore, which is kind of understanding that our elders, it's like an iPhone 6. You know what I mean? It's not going to be able to do the stuff that the more
software
current
is-
generations can do, and expecting them to process that software, I think, is a little unfair. Like
Yeah,
we
I think
can
so,
meet them
too.
where they are more often.
Yeah, especially if you take into account the context of their lived experiences
yeah.
and their intentions for you. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, I don't think she was ill-intentioned. It is sad. I mean, like, when you're the 16-year-old just blossoming and she's like, Nanny, why? She was just like, I'm not happy. Like, I don't. And she's like, girl, what you talk about?
What
Nonsense of
happy-
happiness.
Do you remember that from Becoming? That was a conversation Michelle Obama and her mom had.
Yeah.
Well,
I
after
mean, it's
she was graduating law school and she
Right,
was
about her
doing that,
job
and she
and
was like,
stuff.
yeah, she's like, I'm not happy. And she was like, what are you talking about?
I literally had that conversation with a coworker who I'm getting to know, who I actually like.
Aw.
And, you know, she's maybe in her early 30s and stuff, and she's like coming to that realization of like I spent all this time, and she's from the South too. I had recommended this book to her actually and told her to get her library card, sidebar. But I was just like, you know, you educate. It was like get your education, you know, do all this. So she's like, I did all this, I have these jobs now, and it's like, it feels empty. I'm like holding her hand, like I didn't hold it, but in my mind, I'm like, well, welcome, girl.
You took her into your hand. Like you
Yes.
held her in the light.
I did. I was just like, yeah, girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have a side quest like a podcast, or you're having church or community with your friends. You're creating those spaces for yourself so you can get that joy that I think we're all looking for. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's in relationships, but most of the time I feel like it's good to find what that thing is even outside of a relationship.
Yeah.
If you can. You know?
Well, I think I learned this from NPR about how life is about purpose. Like people would rather have purpose than life itself. You know what I mean? That's why people are willing to die for things, because they have purpose. And so we're not able to have that fulfillment unless we have purpose. I feel like I've always had a lot of purposes, so I've never run out of purpose.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, but why couldn't why isn't living big enough purpose? That's what I don't get. Like, why are we overcomplicating that? Like,
That's
you
true.
could just enjoy this time.
The plumbing of it all.
warm water, the sunshine.
Today is so beautiful,
people-
guys.
yeah,
We've
it's
been
like-
complaining so much about being cold.
And look at us
And
now. Like, sun
now
is
the
shining.
spring has come back, and it feels so good to be alive.
So good though. But so transitioning away from Nanny and then into like her. So after a couple weeks of her courting with this guy Joe or whatever, she finally runs off with him, and it made me think about like when you are like trying to find a partner, like how they can be good on paper. You know what I mean? Like they've got the degree, or they have they're ambitious. You know what I mean? Like that is
Yeah.
very, very attractive.
Ambitious guys tend to be controlling.
And it was interesting because her second husband Joe was very much that. It was like she was an ornament in his life, and I do think that sometimes that's what that dynamic is, right? Like when you're with that person who's very
a trophy.
ambitious, yeah, like
Yeah,
they're
she was
focused
the
on their work,
trophy.
and you're just there to represent that. Like I did a good job, and I will say like there's nothing wrong with that security. I don't think that she left with him because she was like, oh, I hope he's going to become rich and become like, that wasn't even what she was on. Like she really just wanted to connect and love.
And someone a
be
little
herself.
closer to her own age too.
Yeah,
with
that
a
part.
little,
Yeah.
You know what, that's kind of funny too, because this reminds me a little bit of my maternal grandmother, because she had a husband before she met my grandfather and ran off with my grandfather. I was like, ooh, granddaddy had that game.
Hey.
Listen, I seen the pictures. Granddaddy was
Wow.
fine and tall.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Lusting after your grandpa?
Listen, I have eyeballs.
No, I said don't have me.
Don't have you.
Hopefully you weren't.
No.
You're just
But
saying
yeah, if you see the
objectively.
pictures, and he's like educated, and he's got benefits. He's been in the army and stuff.
attractive.
Yeah,
It's
like and he was,
nice.
and like I said, until their dying day, like down for her. So like, yeah, it
That's very
was.
sweet. Too bad it wasn't like that with Joe. I think what happens
Yeah.
though, I mean, so I think because I also thought that's interesting too, how like somebody can, I want to throw up air quotes, love you, because ultimately I don't know that that's love, but I mean, people can only love to the best of their ability and based on what they know how to do. And so like for a lot of guys who are controlling like that, there's an aspect of me loving you that requires me to control you. And if you're not like doing that, then I'm not a man, and you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not following this, whatever this script is. I don't know if they get copies of some sort of.
I think it was maybe trying to assimilate whiteness a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. You're recreating what you see in other spaces.
Yeah, and I think and that's something like that I think people still fall into now, where that's their version of prosperity. We've always been, at least American sort of messaging has always been like the American dream is.
Yeah, the house, the picket fence, the
Yeah.
2 kids, all of that kind of stuff.
But
it's
it's
then
very
it's
much
like-
framed that way.
very much framed like that, and then you get it, and it's like, why doesn't this feel
Like
like
enough.
everybody? Yeah, and it's kind of like you saw in this instance, the white woman sitting on her porch relaxing and doing that. And I'm sure she was happy to be able to do that some, but it was like, I can't even, if y'all sitting out here talking and stuff and laughing, I can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
So it's just weird how you see yourself versus how other people see you, in terms, even when they're your spouse sometimes. Like he was trying to make her super precious, and she
And
was
I
like,
think
I'm
that
just a
was
regular
what
girl.
the corset represented too, when she was talking about that digging into her. Like
Yeah,
that's
man.
kind of like,
You just gotta keep
that
it
was
together.
yeah.
Keep it all together. But so the reason why like he ended up dying, being like still pissed off at her, it cracked me up a little, just because not that part, but like the actual instance. So they had this store in town. So like they go to Eatonville, it's an all black town. He gets there, he gets everybody organized and together, and it's an official sort of town. And like their store is this meeting place of sorts. So people are always hanging around and stuff like that. And for some reason, as he got older, he would just get more insecure. Janie, I mean, in the book, it's repeatedly, like, she's a beautiful woman, objectively, to everybody, and she still was, even though he was quite a bit older than her, still, maybe she was going into her 40s or 40-ish. It was like, she's still really beautiful, and I think he resented her for that, too, because, of course, men are still, you hear people making comments about your beautiful wife and stuff, and then you're visibly
And yeah, she had a
aging.
fat ass too.
She had a fat ass.
Yeah,
And
that came
so-
up. I think they described it as 2 cantaloupes.
At the very beginning of the book,
Yeah.
walking back into town.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
after she had been through a bunch, she was still
Yeah.
fine. So,
Yeah.
but it was like he kept going out of his way to like say stuff about her being old and her looks not being blah blah
What
blah,
they
and kept
used
doing
to,
it. And she's like, why do you have to keep talking about my looks? And then finally she said something about his and described how he looked to her with his pants down, and everybody was cracking up, and he was just like, he could not believe she had the audacity to like embarrass him in front of his peers. Like that's apparently like that's the worst thing you can do to a man is insult him in front of his peers.
Is that the Gloria Steinem quote? I think that men are afraid women will laugh at them, and women are afraid that men will kill them.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that was her, but that sounds about right.
This is Kat breaking in with a correction. It wasn't Gloria Steinem. It was Margaret Atwood.
But yeah, it was kind of like that. You would think that the words, I mean, he was so upset.
Yeah.
And even after he got sick and started dying, like he wouldn't talk to her. And so, like you said, she made sure she went in there and was like, I was trying to take care of you.
I deserve all that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was here.
She's like, I really was down for you, and you just could not
let me be.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even let me be. In fact, you let this witch doctor who you looked down on your whole life take advantage of you and take your money because you didn't want to accept that you were dying. I just wanted to come take care of you, even after all things considered. You know what I'm saying? So what I like is the transition where it's like you see her just getting to be herself. You know what I mean? Like
have some solitude and be like,
because he wanted her to wrap her hair up.
Yep.
Couldn't show her hair in town and stuff like that, and just being able to like the autonomy of it all, like the finding of oneself outside of
and have to wait until your
relationship
40s to finally get to that spot.
It kind of happens like that. Don't you think
does.
the older you get, the more like
the opinions of others become a lot less important.
like I really don't care.
Yeah,
what you think about that?
not so much.
Yeah.
So when did Mrs. Turner show up?
Oh gosh. Okay. So after he dies, and she's like, after Joe dies. Tea Cake comes into town. Okay, this is the younger guy. They instantly connect. They're like flirty and talkative
and
together.
the way he's described, he does not look like Michael Ealy.
No. Michael Ealy plays so there's a movie adaptation. We talked about this
with
in our
Halle
live
Berry
with
playing Janie, which that was very well cast.
Yes. But you saying to me that Michael Ealy was Tea Cake took me out. I forgot about that. I'm like, wait a minute, because who do we picture him as? Who would be a better Tea Cake? Because
Aldous Hodge.
Yes, him, dark, just chocolatey,
charismatic. Yeah.
Something like that. And Michael Ealy, no shade. I mean, I know people
none.
find him
He's
attractive.
very attractive, but that's not. It's just who you cast matter. There's all kind of different people, and the way you look in the world it affects how you're treated.
And it was part of, I feel like it mattered too, because again, like everybody kept trying to put Joni in this status that she was never trying to claim. She was okay just being a regular black lady. She was like, I mean, I'm with y'all.
It's like, why don't you? But that was very common too, because I mean, when we get to Mrs. Turner, where you have these big boulets and blue vein clubs in the South, and I mean, not for nothing. Even my family in the South, I noticed nobody's darker than a paper bag. Yeah. So it's like, this kind of stuff, it happens.
And she does a really good job of capturing it. So it is like when you see it represented in a movie and you don't get to...
Yeah, because you're like, who is in charge of casting? Like, who was... And like I said, it's Hollywood. People are like, oh, well, he's really hot right now and blah, 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 blah. Sure. But it's like, it bumps up against the narrative. Just like with Wuthering Heights. It's like, this doesn't work with the narrative now because of who you cast. Anyway, but Miss Turner, she got on my nerves.
Well, she got on everybody's nerves. She was the worst.
She was the worst.
She was the actual
because she was
worst.
like, you should leave that Tea Cake alone and date my light-skinned brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love
that line doesn't work with Michael Ealy.
No, it doesn't. My favorite was his again, I like roast. Whatever.
Yes,
you
do.
Roast me.
We all love roast.
I don't like to be roasted, but it's also...
It's part of it.
But also, I'll roast you back. Show me your picture. I got notes as well. But so he describes this lady. So she comes in when Janie finally leaves with Tea Cake. They decide to go to the Everglades, and make a life down there. And this particular lady's like in their neighborhood. And she's attracted to Janie just because of her proximity to whiteness. She feels like more important just basically based on how Janie looks, and just feels like, why are you soiling yourself with being around
the
this
regular
dark-skinned-
colors.
regular Negroes and stuff. And she was definitely Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus. But
in
if
a white
Uncle Rucker
person's
was
form.
actually light skinned.
Yeah, if he
Because she was
actually-
so close to being able to pass.
Yes,
Like she could
yes.
just a whisper away from being able to pass. In fact, if she went to, if she wasn't in the South, like, and went
prob-
somewhere
she
it could pale
could.
up, she could probably pass.
She definitely could. But he described her as having like an ironing board, basically, like really flat, and like her pelvis stuck out, like somebody hit her, like a horse
olive
kicked her
oil.
in the butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With pinched. He was just like, she's not cute, and I don't like her. But yeah, it's just, but that whole character arc, I think, was to kind of get into the colorism and all of that stuff and our proximity to whiteness. And oh my gosh, if I can find the quotes, because this is when she's talking about God, like basically like her making an altar to whiteness and like how God could, do you remember this?
There was nothing she could do to discourage her completely. She felt honored by Janie's acquaintance, and she quickly forgave and forgot snubs in order to keep it. Anyone who looked more white-focused than herself was better than she was in her criteria. Therefore, it was right that they should be cruel to her at times, just as she was cruel to those more Negroid than herself in direct ratio to their Negroness. Like the pecking order in a chicken yard, insensate cruelty to those you can whip and groveling submission to those you can't. Once having set up her idols and built altars to them, it was inevitable that she would worship there.
It really beautifully, in only the way Zora Neale Hurston can in her writing. It was just such a poetic way to think about our Black people's proximity to whiteness and how we feel about ourselves in relation to it, and how you make that a god and how you'll prostrate yourself. Because she was like, Joni wasn't even, she said sometimes she would snap at her, but she didn't care because it was just like, that's what good gods do, right? They punish you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why they wouldn't be a god if they weren't, if they were treating you right type shit. I was like, oh, it gave me chills. I was like, I don't remember this line, but I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So, yeah, she was really, really awful. But it was sad when the storm started coming. And, what kicked that part off was like the native people, the Seminoles walking through the area and then being like, where are they going? Janie finally asked, like, where are y'all going? He was like, there's a certain plant that's growing and we know when that means the storm's coming. And everybody's like, well, what?
Like,
Y'all
what?
better listen to your indigenous brothers
Man.
and sisters. They've been here. This is their house.
Yeah.
Y'all were waiting on the white man to tell y'all. They didn't move. They didn't move, so we're not gonna move. And being on some capitalist shit. We want to be here so we can pick these beans. We don't want to lose no money.
Man, why do I remember her describing like the baked beans? It sounded so good.
Ooh. All the beans, yeah.
She was talking about
the
making,
hell out of them beans.
yeah, with the bacon and
Sweet
everything.
bread
It
and
sounded
stuff.
super good.
Yum.
But yeah, that was a good point. Like,
I was
they've
like,
literally been here for thousands
when
of
they
years.
get up and do something, get up and do something.
Yeah,
Black folks
pay
need to start,
attention.
yeah, like
Yeah.
how you see somebody start running, we just run. That's how it needs to be. When the indigenous people of this land start
When they
to
say
make
don't drink the
moves,
water,
then don't
drink the water.
Yeah, so
Have you ever heard that song by Dave Matthews?
don't drink the water? Mm-hmm. If you played it, maybe. I don't
Okay,
know.
maybe during the break.
Okay.
It's like, don't drink the water.
Oh God.
There's blood in the water.
I probably heard it in some, you know what I mean? But I can guarantee I never pulled it up and jammed to it. No shade to Dave Matthews. I know he's wildly popular.
I think Alanis Morissette was in the song.
Was she? Yeah, she
Yes.
was real popular in the 90s too.
Yeah, it was a
of
whole
90
vibe. But
yeah.
yes, it's interesting you bring that up though.
Yeah, and then just them scrambling for their life. I mean, the way she described the storm too, because I was like, oh yeah, the whole time I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this part. Because I kept being like, how did he die again? And then when the dog came and they like it got to
It's
the
so
point where
scary. It's so scary.
her
Like
writing, her writing.
yeah, that part was
Her writing. And I think it's so messed up because, again, like this book was published in 1937 and didn't get popular again till the 70s when Alice Walker rediscovered her books.
because they tried to
And-
bury her.
Oh, they did.
I love Zora Neale
they did.
Hurston because she is the refusal to
Oh,
be
it's
for
so
like
beautiful.
of everything. Because you know what they tried to do is frame her for plagiarism.
Yeah, we talked about that, and I think Barracoon.
Barracoon,
when we reviewed
yeah.
that
They
one,
so
yeah.
they wanted to erase her because the work she did was really important. Like being born in 1891, so was that 30 years after slavery or something like
Yeah.
that? Or wait,
No,
when was it?
1864, 63 to 65, I think was the original, like emancipation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be about 30-something years after that. That's not a long
That's
time.
not a long time, man.
No, yeah, like your grandma
So,
would
like
have
you
been.
said, Eatonville
Yeah,
is a feat, like
Yeah.
a black town with people who,
a post office.
and a light post,
Yeah,
all those kinds of things. Anywho, but yeah, man, but their relationship was really cute though, because I felt like it was
her
the
and
one
TK?
time her and TK, because
Yeah.
it felt like they just got to be playful with each other. I mean, he was definitely not perfect.
that was like her first boyfriend for
It
real.
really was. It really was.
And boyfriends are the best. Like marriage is cool, but oh my God, having a boyfriend is so fun.
He was joking that he was like, you got to be old first and you got to be young with me.
Yeah,
Because
when
he
you
said
got some
did all-
resources.
yeah. Hey.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? So do you think Tea Cake really loved Joni?
It's hard to say, right? Because as I've gotten older and realized that Janie might not be a completely reliable narrator, because I think she would like to think he was. And once again, probably as much as Joe, as much as he
Yeah.
could be, because when we have that story about him running off with the money and stuff like that was clearly a lie. So would you do that to somebody you love? Or did he just, while he was running off, realized he loved her and came back? Like
He
that.
said he wanted to know what it felt like to be a rich man.
Okay. So that to me, that was always something a little that made it difficult for me to trust Tea Cake after that.
There were several things in there that's like, ooh, even like him smacking her around a little bit.
I forgot about
just
that.
to show.
This is when I get to grab you, because this is what struck me the most from this book is that conversation in the fields when one of the other migrant workers was talking to Tea Cake
I know what you're gonna
about
say.
how lucky he was that Janie was so light-skinned so that when he hit her, the bruises showed up. Because he was talking about you can beat these black bitches, and they never turn colors. And it's like,
He said, I bet she just cries. Don't even fight back like these banshees. They'll bite your, I thought.
that was to me,
Wow.
that was probably what hit me the most out of the book, at least my first reading of it, because it was like, what the hell? But I'm also like, this sounds like a conversation that happened, like you might have overheard. And that was also something too where it would be hard to make the case that Tea Cake loved her, or maybe he was just performing masculinity or what he thought was love. Because we've heard that before too, like a man doesn't love you unless he hits you. Like, have you heard that little chestnut?
Not from anybody in my life in real life.
Oh, well, no.
But I've heard it in the,
Yes,
the
in the
zeitgeist,
culture.
yeah.
But yeah, that was.
Girl, can you imagine your mama or somebody telling you that? But that happens. Like, I feel like we've read books where it's like,
Miss Pat.
you have
There
to
she
know.
go right there, rabbit.
Oh, man. That was a great book. That was
It
a great
was.
book. She has another book coming out, too.
Did she?
Yeah. But Squirrel, yeah, so for me, it was like, him being younger than her, him coming from where he came from too, probably just saw her like, I think, like you say, I think he was loving her the best way he knew how, kind of, but he also probably knew, like, when else are you going to get a chance to be with somebody who you feel like is that beautiful, who has
Has that
something.
stuff,
Yeah, you know what I
yeah.
mean? But I think he actually did like her, though. Like, he at least let her
He
be herself.
valued her.
Yeah, like, it was
He
like he was like
valued
playing
her,
with her.
yeah.
He, like, that's the thing. Like, you want somebody where it's like, we can actually be people together. Like, I can actually display my actual personality and it's not a problem. And you actually might like it a little bit.
Yeah. Like he just wanted to scratch your dandruff.
Yeah.
That to me was
cute.
like really sweet
They
and
go
stuff.
fishing together, hanging out. He shut.
Now here's the other thing, like as I've gotten older and, re-examine this narrative, I wonder if the rabies story is true. Because like we've established, it was an abusive relationship. So I don't know if it's totally true that she shot him because of the rabies. Like there might have been another reason that she killed him.
I don't like to believe that,
I know.
but maybe.
Yeah.
But not in my
Because
story.
it's okay.
You're not gonna ruin this for me, cat.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Because
She
I'm
shot
like,
him because he was rabid.
okay.
But yeah, it could have just been because he was just straight up abusive, and it was like,
Or he might have been trying to leave. Like sometimes that happens too. Like, because he left once before. I don't know. Like, to me, it's like, it just made me, it gave
Think
me
about that,
pause. It gave me a
sure.
little pause, especially the fact that they put her on trial. Like that.
Real fast.
Real fast.
We're real fast.
Real quick and in a
Yeah.
hurry.
Yep.
I don't know. But if her telling of the story is true, she's a reliable narrator and it happened like it happened and he saved her from a rabid dog, I would say, yeah, he loved her in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
If
I think it's
that's what's
hard to love people perfectly at all times.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not gonna happen. I mean, obviously, we all want to be handled perfectly throughout every situation. It just doesn't happen like that. So, I mean, he wasn't perfect, but I guess it just was nice for her to be in a place where she could at least, like, if I wanted to sit on the porch and laugh and do whatever, she was just like, I'm down for whatever, though, really. I mean, she left her cozy home to go down to the muck and, like, pick beans in the field.
And refused to even live up to her standards she could because she
Yeah.
just wanted to live to whatever he could provide.
Yeah.
I didn't love that. But, I mean, I understand
her
it so
choice.
that she understood that.
Because it was, well, and I think in her mind was like, bitch, I got $1,200 in the bank, and back then that meant a lot. So if she ever got tired, I mean,
She was free
if we're not
to-
going with, he was, you know what I mean, like, I don't know, super abusive, and she had to, like, hurry up and get the hell up out of there. You know, she knew she had security to go back to, you know, technically. So, and if you've lived in a space where you've been well taken care of and you've had everything and been made precious and it didn't give you anything, it's like, oh, well, let's see what this is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because, I mean, you see people in squalor. I mean, some of the happiest people you've ever seen, the most giving, loving, full of life folks, you know, and then you get people with all these resources who are miserable as hell.
Yeah.
So maybe she was just ready to tap into that, you know? You know?
Yeah,
Somebody
like
wanna
what
take you
real
down to the muck, would
freedom.
you go?
No, but I'm not really outdoorsy. You know what I mean? I really, really enjoy the fruits of civilization. It took a lot of work to get to this point, and I think it's responsible for me to enjoy it as much as possible.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. What about
Definitely
you?
Not at this big age, no.
Okay.
No, I
there's
think
not
a younger version of myself. I mean, because again, I didn't grow up with a bunch of resources, and I know that it doesn't take a lot to be actually happy. So, you know, I don't think being a kept woman would make me happy. I really don't. I'm too. It's like, this is boring. Like, I want to have fun too. There's a part of me that's like, I like to laugh and joke
And
around.
I don't
want to
get murdered. Like,
That
to
part
me too. Like a
The
lot
bossy
of times,
stuff.
yeah, like that. It's a
controlling
dangerous game.
Yeah.
And also too, I've already
Poor and free, I take it over.
What?
Poor and free.
Poor and free. I don't know. I thought you said porn free. Can we take a break? I think I might be
gotta take
trying
a
to, and then we can try to look up this.
Cat.
We're gonna listen to "Don't Drink the Water."
Oh, gosh. I wanted to hear the beautiful quote when you were up here talking about. Okay, bye, y'all. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back from the break. I wanted to wrap up final thoughts about the book. You gave us your sort of alternate sort of view on, you know, what could have happened in the book. But for me, I was like, man, I forgot how funny it was, how joyful Black people are.
Negroes are funny.
And that's the thing, like, I don't know, like, this book makes me feel like it's so funny that, like, right now we have to legislate feelings and people don't want to feel bad. And I do remember feeling like a certain amount of shame learning about, I don't know, like, coming from this legacy of, you know, slavery and enslaved people, and like, you carry the weight of that somehow. But, you know, when I think stories like this are important, like illuminating these characters as just like living, breathing people who are just looking for what everybody's looking for, which is love, acceptance, you know, like autonomy, freedom in their lives. And so, like, this book being written in the vernacular that it was, and knowing that it wasn't well received at the time, and it took some time to pass for it to really truly be like appreciated for what it was. I don't know, like, it just hit me, man.
Did you ever listen to that Code Switch? The ancestors were messy. when they were
Ooh, I
talking
don't know, I
about
don't
like
know.
how like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston and all them, they had like, you know, they were just people. They had beefs.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they were just people.
I'm sure they did. Absolutely, they did. Especially knowing the time that they grew up in and the atmosphere and stuff like that. But that was just one thing that struck me, was just that how beautiful to me the writing is, because it captures something so specific to American history that we are a part of. You know, even if it's down the line and like down to the vernacular. You know, I would be embarrassed, like if we're reading stories in school and it's like the broken English, because people make such a big deal about respectability politics and speaking proper English, and really like, because what is Black
American vernacular.
vernacular? Like, yeah, I have so much more respect for it, not only just because of this book as I've gotten older, but because of this book and books like this, just finding the beauty in how we existed. There was nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? And it was just so beautiful. So that was one of my final thoughts. What about you, friend?
It's funny you bring that up, because I don't know if I've ever felt that shame per se, but I know it's there. I know that people do try to, you know, put you like, mitigate you, like put you in that box. And I've just always been so very, what's the right word? Adverse. I just always wanted to fight. I'm like, no, I've always rejected that super hard, because I know the shame should not be falling on me.
Yeah.
Like
It's like, not in this situation. Absolutely.
of all the places it can fall, it shouldn't be on my delicate brown shoulders.
Yeah.
Like there's this
Nice
isn't.
try.
I didn't set this up. And the fact that we're still here, to me, is always just such a point of pride. Like, to me, I've always just felt an immense amount of pride having family, you know, from the South that survived this. And like I said, even though there's aspects, like I said, that are problematic, because it's like,
man,
we
the
are
gossipy and like pulling each other down stuff. Ooh, miss this.
well, and the colorism and the hair shaming and all of that stuff. But it's understandable in its context. And to me, this is the great American novel.
So good.
Yeah.
It's a total love story.
So that is, that's my takeaway from it.
And it was sad that there was like not one relationship that didn't have some sort of domestic violence in it. And just like, it's, you know, like, that's crazy. That's all. That's just crazy. But ultimately, the ultimate love story was just her coming back to herself, which is what I thought the main idea was. And that was really beautiful to see. It was very full circle.
It was.
Very
And
nice.
that female, like, friendship, like that camaraderie. Like I said, what was her friend's name? I can't report. Phoebe. Phoebe. I feel like I'm lightweight dressed like Phoebe from Friends Today. Yeah, I got my little chunky jewelry on and stuff.
so
But
funny.
yeah, but no, with Phoebe being like, "Oh, Janie, girl, come on, I got some rice for you. Come on."
Like, let me
And
hear
she's
what
like,
really
"Yeah,
happened
let me
was.
hear what
Everybody
happened and
around
stuff,"
here-
instead of just being like, "Oh, you heard Janie back and blah blah blah." And it's like, no, I know what you need, and that's a kind ear and a bowl of warm food.
Yeah. And it's, again, like, it just, how people see you and how they perceive you is not always like, even, she was never really on that. You know what I mean? And I don't know, people be happy to see you fall off or whatever.
Do you think this was in any
fall off.
way lightly autobiographical?
I think so. I mean, she was married 3 times. Check. It was in Eatonville, which is, I guess, where she's actually from in real life. Check.
She's a light-skinned negress.
Check.
Check.
So I, you know, I'm sure that there's a lot of her in there. I'm sure she is pulling from a lot of the people in her life and like making up these characters and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think, you know, for me, like, when I speak about the shame too, it was almost like, it wasn't like it was resting in my soul per se, but it was like something that I felt like somebody was always trying to hand me.
you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, this is gross. I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this, because I don't innately feel like that about myself. But a lot of times it's the what's her name?
Turner.
The Mrs. Turners of it all. Like, I feel like that's one of the things that struck me a lot, was just like the respectability politics that we play into so much as a group, and how much better we would be if we weren't judging each other for, oh, your hair texture is a 4B or whatever the hell. I don't know what all the
categories
are. And, like finding joy in ourselves, because I feel like that's why they hate us. Is because no matter where we find ourselves, we try to find the joy. And I love that.
Lemonade,
that is what
baby.
You have to make it. You just got to do it. So.
That's why Lemonade was so good.
So good.
Just the visual. That hit all of this stuff.
It sure
and
did.
it's a reminder, too, that love is the revolution.
Amen.
But that love has to start
this guy.
right here.
Amen. I like it. What a great book. Let's rate it, friend.
Man, this is a 5 out of 5. What was something that was a big symbol of this movie? 5 out of 5 pears.
I like it. I would say 5 out of 5. Enthusiastic 5 out of 5. I don't know, just belly roll laughs, man. Because there were a lot of those in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very real.
Very, very nice. Truly, truly, truly enjoyed that book. I'm glad I read it again. I feel like I'd read it again.
Yeah.
Low-key.
I'm sure I'm going to read this several times.
Yeah, man.
It's a companion in my
just
life.
So good. And I wonder how I'll feel about, like as some more time passes, like you say,
I'll be like,
I'll change
ooh.
anything. Okay, so do we spin the wheel, or do you want to talk a little shit before we spin the wheel?
I want to talk a little stuff, just the
quickly.
little things that were in the news this week,
Okay,
because
what's
so
on your
many
heart?
things happened.
What's on your heart, friend?
One of the things, because you brought up the Stephen Miller thing, that was hilarious.
Not for us.
That was crazy. Another thing that got a lot of posts was Kev on stage.
And I didn't even hear about this.
Oh,
Tell the people. Maybe
man.
they did. Maybe they're like me. and
Right.
live
I
under a
love
rock.
to inform. But Kev on stage, he had just made a comment about how he could never reject his child for being gay. And that triggered a lot of the internet Christians. And they were kind of, or people, who brand themselves with Christianity. Because you know
It's a
what?
brand.
Fun fact, Jesus in the Bible never said anything about gay people. Ever. Like it's you would think that's all he talked about was like, I don't like gay people, I don't like abortions, put me on a necklace. Never said any of those things ever. He was he didn't like hypocrites, and he didn't like wealth hoarders. That was a big part of his message. Don't take my word for it.
To read it for yourself.
So yeah, to me that was a little something that
Yeah, that's
just stood
interesting.
out
What was
with me
his
this week.
response? I mean, like,
Oh.
he was just like, did he feel like
I don't think he
upset
was
about
upset
it?
at all
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
He's like, yeah, I'm standing 10 toes down. I'm Kev on stage.
I love my kids. Good for him. That has to be hard though, I think, because I think I've listened. I admire Kev on stage. We should read his book.
I would be into that. I
wonder
like
if
him.
he-
Yeah, I
I
like him
mean,
too. I also
seems like a real
try to
person.
have compassion in my heart for the people coming after him, because imagine if you're like one of those parents from Pose who put your gay kid or your trans kid out because you were told by an authority figure in your church to do that, and now your child is in the wind or even not here anymore. Because a lot of times these are the opinions that make it so that these, it causes a lot of self-harm. Oh, also because the government is trying to roll back the ban on conversion therapy. Like they're trying to make that something that insurance pays for again. Because right now that's like not considered medicine. It's pretty much torture. If people don't know, conversion therapy is when you send your kid off to a camp and to make them less.
So cruel.
And it just
like
ends up being
psychological
torturous. A lot of
torture.
times they're way more likely to self-harm.
Come on, man.
And
they don't
and
care
it doesn't
about
work. Like that's the other part. I remember on Kimmy Schmidt. This was I love that show so much. And Titus Andromedon, he was sent to a camp to make young men less musical, and he was like, "It was a total bang fest."
Oh, wow. Okay.
So just keep that in
Yeah,
mind too. You're
there you
just
have
herding
it.
them all up together.
Oh my gosh. And again, like that's what I'm saying about like our community sometimes in terms of respectability politics. And because especially I won't say especially older, because now it's whoever, but there's this certain level of conservatism that Black people possess, you know what I mean? That I don't think you really think of, like, we know, you know what I mean? But it's like, they're very conservative, and it's hard. It's hard to be like in a group, and because again, we talked about how they will roast you, people will roast you, and they'll just flat out, you know, excommunicate you from whole groups for not believing or not whatever. But hopefully Kev knows that he's got a big enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the people who are following him who feel like that are like, we're the ones who got you here kind of thing, because a lot of his stuff up front was like very churchy and stuff. You know, he was a preacher's kid. That was his experience.
Yeah.
And now that his experiences are broadened
Expanded.
and expanding and stuff like that, you know, he's growing up. Like, he's not.
Yeah,
he's a grown man.
it's interesting that that's part of the brand now. That, you know, you have to, because like I said, that's
super weird.
it's
man.
super weird. But I get it. Like, people.
Good on you, Kev.
Yeah, good for him.
I like
and the fact that
him.
like you can have progressive
thoughts and be consider yourself
and
Christian.
still,
Good for
yeah,
you.
like you don't have to,
which is beautiful. So we like that.
But that was it.
That was it. What about Meg and what's his face?
I need more time.
Do you? Oh, that's all. We can talk about it next time.
No, it was sad. Meg and Clay broke up, and I was really cheering for them. I
They
mean,
were
I
so
don't know them
cute.
people, but you know, just as celebrity couples go, I like them.
I hope
and
they had fun. I hope they made some good memories together. Hopefully you learned whatever you need to learn from that relationship. I think that's the best you can hope for. You know what I mean? Is that like you just leave with some good lessons, and the good ones you keep, the bad ones you just don't repeat that shit, and you keep it moving. So yeah, hate to see it, but also that's life. I mean,
and I'm sure she'll be fine. It looks like she's got things to do.
I'm sure she has a busy schedule to keep her, even if she is sad.
Because like, y'all, let us know if you want us to review Reggie Dinkins so I can make Moni watch it.
Reggie Dinkins.
That
name is so
Rise and
ridiculous.
Fall of Reggie Dinkins. That's the theme song.
Well, it's about that time, guys.
All right.
So let's spin the wheel. Spin it. Okay. Oh, this is just in time for Mother's Day, friend. The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan.
Oh, a classic.
Classic.
A classic. No, this is one I've read before.
I haven't read it.
And you haven't, but we've both seen the movie. I feel like I've made you
hair
watch
braiding
the
movie.
movie.
Hair braiding movie. Nice
movie.
long movie for some hair braiding. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I just like it so much. And it's crazy to me, too, that they never made an all-Asian cast again until Crazy Rich Asians.
That's wild.
And it was a hit. They be doing Asian people like, Hollywood,
K-pop.
I'm like Diploma. Hollywood goes too far.
They do. They really. He is so funny. Oh my gosh. That Paul. So yeah, just in time for Mother's Day. It'll be right before Mother's Day. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to say? I guess not.
You know what we're gonna do? And we
What are we
keep
gonna
talking
do,
about
friends?
it.
What?
We're gonna do a live on YouTube, or at least one of us, where we say all the stuff we forgot to say when we recorded. Didn't we say we were gonna do that?
I want to say yes.
Yeah. So
Boom. If I can remember that. I already
stay
forgot
tuned
to
for
say
that,
it.
you guys.
Oh yeah, yep. And in the meantime, guys, until next time, be safe, do the things you love the things you do.
Because your body belongs to you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Ooh, I like that. You like that? That was fun. Okay, bye.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezene M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.
That's Homelander. You know, listen, you know what's crazy? So I've been watching The Boys, right? I know you don't watch it.
Oh my gosh.
But
I mean, I will go back to it. I just gave it a break because I said, you know what I mean? Because I get what they're doing. It's just I need.
It's wild because of course they wrote this like years ago and then shot it and stuff. It's exactly what's happening now. Like Homelander set up detention camps and has decided to make himself a god.
Excellent.
And it's the same. Cool. And it's like the same week that episode comes out is when Trump had the little thing of him being Jesus and stuff. So it's like
he thought he was a Red Cross worker / doctor. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's like, all right, dude.
Idiot.
No one should have told him about AI.
Wow. And the fact that you didn't know that was a bad idea is even crazier.
No, he knew it was. Once again, having had plenty of toxic relationships, this is what they do. Like, they're doing bad stuff on purpose so that you never have time to hone on any one bad thing.
Seems like a
so
terrible
this
strategy.
is like, they're not trying to get out of anything, like, because you can't. So it's just like, you can't be mad at me for cheating on you if we're about to be evicted because I didn't pay the rent. Like, you got to be mad about that
like,
now.
Punch you in your eye.
Yeah, and it's like you can't get, you can't kick me out because if I'm gone, you can't go to work because there's nobody to watch the kids. So it ends up being like this really tight. Yeah. So he knows what he's doing.
Terrible story.
He knows what he's doing because he's a terrible baby daddy. Because I even fell asleep. I couldn't even make it through my little episode of Georgie and Mandy, and that's just short.
Come on. Hold up. Georgie and Mandy. Let me pull it up on here so I don't forget.
Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. My God. And here's the other thing. Miss Pat's show, part of what makes it so good is the audience. Her black-ass Atlanta audience is hilarious.
They're like cracking up?
They're talking to the characters. It's like a Tyler Perry play. Like, they're actually saying, there's one part where, what's the little daughter's name? I can't remember her name, but she was like, or maybe I should just crash out. They were like, yeah, crash out.
Do it. Oh, wow. And you're like, that's not in the script. This isn't a goddamn, what are those called? Improv. Damn, yes, that. Ain't no goddamn improv show where you shout out, we're not the made men.
And so then as the seasons go on, she like does the little part where she's doing the stand up like in the audience. And she'll like come out a little bit and lightly roast people a little bit.
That's what they want.
It is.
She was like, people be like, light me up, Miss Pat. She'd be like, why are y'all like this?
She's like, all right.
Fuck it. Your wig is trash. I don't know. Right. Oh my God.
She's really good at it though.
Yeah, that's festive.
It's a wonderful thing. It's an art. I hope it doesn't get lost.
It's so fun. That's crazy. Brian Fellows.
Brian Fellows.
I don't know what made me think about
That's
him.
crazy.
That's why.
Oh, I've been watching his show too.
Brian Fellows?
No, Tracy Morgan.
He's
got a show on Peacock with Erica Alexander called The Rise and Fall of Reggie Dinkins. And
is Reggie Dinkins him?
Yes.
Oh.
He plays a washed up football player who's trying to get in the Hall of Fame. But he got kicked out because of sports betting.
I thought that was legal.
No, this was before it was legal. He points out it's legal now.
Yeah,
but
hello.
But she plays his ex-wife, but still manager. And it has the same tone as like 30 Rock and Kimmy Schmidt. I think it's produced by the same
folks.
people because it's got that whole vibe to it.
Okay,
and
so you're enjoying it thoroughly.
I think I might rewatch it because I had it on at the shop and I couldn't really lock in, but they would say something every once. It was that kind of show where they just say something real slick, real fast.
I love this.
It's like, I heard him the other day yell at the microwave, Siri, potato.
Okay. She can't do that. Okay, sick of it. Oh my gosh. Tracy is already a mess. He's an
It
idiot.
really is. And then he got not Horatio. Is it Horatio Sands? Is this his like white deadbeat roommate? Kind of like J. Boo Smooth was with Larry David.
Okay.
Yeah, just living in the house.
Okay,
keep me company.
Check them out. I know I've
Getting
seen a lot
packages.
of promotions for the show, but I had, because isn't it Daniel Radcliffe in the show?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying not to say that.
Okay.
Did you see me pulling for it?
You did. You did a great job.
There it is.
But
here.
yeah, he do. Yeah, he.
Which I don't want to see the new Harry
And
Potter, by the
Megan
way.
Thee Stallion's in it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. She's a male lady.
Yeah.
She'd be a fine male lady.
Yeah.
I mean,
she attracts.
she's
like
a fine
you can
whatever.
see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you can
like
see it. It's like
everybody loves when she comes. Oh my God, did you see Mitch such and such coming down? And everybody who's married is mad. Better not look.
I was really cheering for her and Clay.
That is kind of messed
That
up.
was supposed to be like, oh, there's hope at the end of the tunnel, but
Oh, but that made me think about something. Hold up, let me put that down
but
because I was
maybe
in
that
the
hope
final
is just a
thoughts.
train.
Like,
Oh, my final thoughts.
no,
gonna
no.
be
You're going to say them to the show. I'm silencing you like Joe did Janie. You don't get a voice, bitch.